everybody. My name is Lynn, and I want to welcome you to the very first episode of the Sunshine and Bubblegum podcast. I am on Ravelry and Instagram as Sunshine Bubblegum, and I'm also on Facebook and Etsy as Sunshine and Bubblegum. Sunshine and Bubblegum is just a super silly thing that my sister and I started a long time ago. I was Sunshine and Bubblegum and she was Unicorns and Rainbows. And a lot of times it was snarky conversation back and forth because we used to play games of making up swears that weren't really swears and getting really silly. So, I'm just thinking about it right now. So it always just kind of stuck. And it also was very happy, you know. How can you be upset when you're talking about sunshine and bubblegums or unicorns and rainbows? So Sunshine and Bubblegum has always kind of been my catchphrase, and I'm just rolling with it. So I am a stay-at-home mom of 3-year-old twin boys, and I have a little picture. This is from when they were super duper tiny. Look how small they were. 36 weeks, and they were both 4 pounds 10 ounces. They were so tiny. That's Sean and Michael. And they are much bigger now, but I had another super fun picture which I thought all the Harry Potter fans would enjoy. This is them in their Fred and George Weasley shirts. I solemnly swear I'm up to no good and mischief managed. And they are adorable. They're also asleep, so I apologize for the lighting this evening. But as a mother of 3-year-old twin boys, you do things when you can. And right now, I'm recording at night, so it is what it is. They start preschool in the fall, and then I'll have 3 hours each day so I could podcast during the day. I know that drinking tea on podcasts is a big thing, so I have to show you my silly little mug. I have chamomile in here to help me try and calm my nerves because this is actually super exciting. This is my Gloucester mug. I'm born and raised Gloucester, Massachusetts. And I had a little bit of a mug collection. I've actually whittled it down to a few of my favorites. And we were just in Walgreens one day, which is like a convenience store, drugstore. And they have a very small tourist section of, those hats and t-shirts and things. And I was like, oh, I should get myself a mug. I don't have any mugs that say Gloucester on them. Real quick, to jump around to that story, I now live in Louisiana. So I wanted a Gloucester mug to remind me of home. So I picked this one, because I love turtles, and 2, because it had lighthouses on it. But it also has a whole bunch of things that have nothing to do with Gloucester and are spelled incorrectly. There are frog shells, toodles, Tuetles, flamingos, and other palm trees. None of this has to do with New England. This is Gloucester, Massachusetts. Beautiful beach town, but there are no palm trees or flamingos. So it was an automatic must buy. This is my Gloucester mug. So, yes, I am a Gloucester girl, born and raised. Lived there almost the first 20, actually I did live there the first 23 years of my life. And then at work, I met a Southern gentleman who was up on business, and we kept in touch, dated long distance for a year, and then I moved down to New Orleans, Louisiana, and now I am a Yankee in the South. And it's tough to knit for myself here because it is hot 3/4 of the year. I do miss my beautiful seasons, spring, fall, winter. It's just summer here most all the time. But I do a lot of gifts. I guess a little bit of my knitting history, crocheting. I crochet and knit, so maybe I should have said that first. If anyone wants to leave now, this is a knitting, crocheting, craft podcast. So if you made it this far and would still like to stay, I appreciate it. We're a huge crafty family. We have bird carvers and painters and sculptors and sewers and knitters and and nurses and military. Everybody in my family is amazing at whatever they put their mind to. And as a child, we crafted all the time. Everything, anything and everything. My mom did daycare, and we had glue, popsicle sticks, yarn, needlepoint. In Girl Scouts, we learned embroidery. So we were always doing that. My mom taught us how to knit and crochet, so almost all of it. And I think in 2008, my sister graduated college. I'm also the eldest of 7, so, but I was talking about my sister Kira at the moment. She had just graduated college. I had moved home with my brand new husband, and we found out that good friends of mine from high school, had just opened a yarn shop in town, and it was really exciting, and it kind of refueled all of that want to create and explore and learn how to craft again. And I picked up the knitting, and my sister picked up the crochet, and then we kind of taught each other from there. My mom had taught us a long time back before then, and we kind of got back into it. My friend's store is called Coveted Yarn, and it's in Gloucester, Mass, and they're also online, covetedyarn.com. Rob and Laurel are such sweet people. And yeah, it just kind of started from there. I actually started knitting, and I don't have any of them because they were all given away as gifts. I started making tiny fruit. I was working at a family health food and organic grocery store, the Common Crow. And as a joke for someone's birthday, I made them a little lemon. It was one of the first things I knitted. And from there, the next birthday, I made a pear, and it was for Perry. And I put eyeballs and a mustache on it, and we called him Jean Perry. And from there, it went downhill. There was broccoli, carrots, sushi, cans of sardines with little fish in them. And it was really fun. Lots of baby gifts. And then my husband and I moved back here, and we had our own 2 boys, and I started had gotten away from it because, again, the hot. But when we found out we were having twins, which was super exciting, I started, you've got to knit. That's what you do. And so I made them each their very own tiny pumpkin hat. And I didn't pull the yarn out, but I can put it in the notes somewhere, what yarn this was. So I made them each their own little tiny hat, which was too big for them when they came home, but they were born in October, but they were able to wear them about November, and they fit. And I was, I made those before they arrived. And then when they were 1 month old, I said, oh, I'm going to make them a hat for every holiday. Like every month they'll have their own little fun, silly hat. So then for November, I made them turkeys, and not like turkeys with the feathers, turkeys, like cooked little turkeys. And it was super fun and exciting. These ones are crocheted, the little drumsticks. And I can look up this pattern too, and I'll put it in the notes. And then the overwhelmingness of being a mother of twin boys took over, and I probably didn't get to knit or crochet anything for another year. The first 6 months I don't remember much of. Very little sleep, lots of diapers, tons of baby giggles, and all that good stuff. Sorry, I'm probably saying a lot. I used to say like all the time, and my mother would count on her fingers at dinner table how many times I said like. So I hope someone's keeping a running tab of how many times I've said because that would be, I'll find out later. So boys, when they turned 1, we had joined a twins group, and the first birthday party we got invited to was a Minion theme, and I made Minion hats. And from there, people started requesting them, asking if I was selling them. So I did a bunch of birthday gifts in a row because it was the fall at the time. And you can get away with hats down here, definitely in the fall. 60 feels really cold when it's 90 to 100 plus the rest of the year. And then I started my little Etsy store because they were doing great. So I do tons of little hats. I was doing the character ones for a while, and then I just needed a break because I find that it's more fun when I'm just being spontaneous. So these are just a bunch of little newborn hats. They're quick and easy. I can do them crochet without worrying if the boys are going to grab the yarn and run or whatnot. It's another little one with buttons. A little hedgehog. So they're just sweet. Something to do, keeps me busy. I can't knit during the day around the boys. My biggest fear is that they're going to grab that yarn and run, and I'm going to lose my mind. So, try to check my notes real quick. I got notes all over, but I think we're just going to keep winging it. So, podcasting. Why I wanted to podcast. Since the boys were very small, I say even during that first year before I started crocheting again, I was watching Knit and Crochet Now or Knitting Daily on the PBS, and I just got really excited and really inspired by the yarns, the different textures, learning about them, learning about the stitches, and that's when I kind of wanted to get my hands back into the fibers. And Vickie Howell was on. Might have been a rerun, I'm not sure, but she was the host at the time of one of the shows, and I just kind of started following her on Facebook, and recently she started her own craftish podcast, so I was listening. I do a lot of audiobooks when I'm cooking or cleaning, and so I started listening to her podcast, and she was great, inspirational, talking to wonderful, wonderful people, and I just got really inspired, and from there I found the Purls podcast and started listening to that one and got even more excited. And so that started the downward spiral. And then one day, after listening to a podcast about hand-dyed yarn and Sweet Georgia yarns, I wanted to find out more about hand dyeing. And I was curious to see if anyone was doing it locally, because I'm kind of interested in learning, but it would be more fun to learn with somebody that you can physically do it. I'm a physical person. I like to see it, get my hands in it. YouTube's wonderful for instructionals. I'm sure everybody knows that. But I think for this, I really wanted to talk to somebody and find out more. So I Googled dyeing yarn, hand dyeing yarn in Louisiana, and Robin and Mary popped up from the Cherry Purls podcast on YouTube. Robin is a student, and she's hand dyeing, she's spinning, and her and her mom have a super cute podcast. They're here down in the South with me in Louisiana, and I was so excited to find them. And I've watched all of their shows as fast as I could. You know, you can't. There are hour episodes. You can't do too many, and not. Forget to do everything else during the day. But I was very excited. And then, of course, from there, it was another downward happiness spiral of finding all of the beautiful people doing amazing podcasts that are so inspirational. And I was hoping that maybe I could find a little niche in there somewhere. I think over the past few years, I've gotten really good at crocheting. And I'm proud of... that bug's driving me crazy. I'm really proud of how well, I guess, I don't know, tooting my own horn. I'm proud of the skills that I've learned, and I've been really working on my finishing skills. So, because I'm making finished products that I'm selling to people, and I want them to enjoy them and be able to wear them and not worry that they're going to unravel or fall apart or know where, you know, I started and stopped and all that. So I feel really confident and comfortable in my crocheting skills, and I feel that because of my nervousness to knit around the boys, it's really taken a back seat. And I want to get back into knitting. I want to get back into the fibers. We don't have a lot of you know, family-run yarn places down here. There's a beautiful one, the Quarter Stitch in the French Quarter. They have gorgeous stuff. I've been there once. It's really hard to get to if you're a local. Parking, you got to pay for parking. I can't go down there with the boys and wander around the French Quarter during the day. That's not, you know, chasing after two isn't that no, it's not going to happen. And other than that, everything else is really an hour away, unless you're going to a local big box, Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby. So you do what you can. And so that's what I've been doing. And now I'm ready to get back into knitting and make a sock. I've made one pair of socks, and that was 8 years ago, and I gave them to my grandma. And I don't even have the yarn to show you what I made them out of, but they were really pretty. And I'm watching all this awesome sock talk, Crochet Girl sock talk, and everyone's doing socks, everyone's doing shawls, and I wanna get in on that. Most of them may be gifts to my family up north, but I'm excited. So let me show you a couple of things. I can show you first my FO. I have an FO that I finished today. This is going to be a gift for one of my mother's best friends. Her daughter is having a little baby girl, and she asked me if I had time to make up a blanket. So this is it's just a little over 30, maybe 32 inches by 32 inch square. It's just a corner to corner pattern. A lot of people call them the C2C. I got the inspiration from Sarah Zimmerman from Repeat Crafter Me. She's got a beautiful website. That's a lot of my hat patterns and inspirations came from. And then the little roses that go around the border are called Flowers in a Row, and that I found on Ravelry. And then I just did a little single half double crochet around the edges for the white. So that is all done, and that is going to be going to Gloucester this week. I also have, and this is a bit of a spoiler, so Kira, if you're looking, look away real quick. Kira's birthday is this week, and her and I have also been doing a declutter. She's much better and more decluttered, or has decluttered her house more than I have. So she's kind of going minimalist, and she commented the other day that she wanted a hand towel with the top that was buttoned so her daughter couldn't keep pulling it off the stove, because she's got a little 1-year-old girl, Virginia. Ginny peas. And so I found a super fun little towel with lots of bright colors and fruit, which Virginia's of course going to want to pull on, but I just made a little topper for it with a big giant button so she can put it on her oven door. And it's actually funny because I just went through and hand stitched actually through inside this little edging. This is actually a dish size towel, and I hand stitched through and then went back and picked it up with crochet and did the shells. I did the shell pattern thinking that I was going to do shells all the way up, and then I got to here, which is just single crochet, and it was getting really heavy and I didn't want it to be hanging down so much, so I actually just stuck my knitting needle through it, picked it up and knitted, just decreasing on the edges, and then when I got to the width I wanted, I just garter stitched and then put in a buttonhole. So this is kind of completely made up as I went. I had a couple different versions before this, and so this is going in her little birthday basket from me, because she didn't want stuff. So of course she's getting tea. We're big tea drinkers too. Our favorite, absolute favorite, is black tea. I like a Irish breakfast if I can get it. English breakfast is good too. So besides my little hats and the blankets, and this was my finished projects that I've done recently, a big project that I'm working on, this is actually a commission piece, which is knitted, is this beautiful. This is my whip. But it's also, I don't know, it's more than halfway done. So it's a hoe, maybe a whip toe, maybe. Now we're going downhill. So this is a 4 foot wide, and it will be 4 by 6 when it's finished. And this is done on, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby. It's an acrylic, but it washes really well, and you know, giving this as a gift, there's no worry about, I don't know if that purple is going to come through. This is purple, gold, and cream. Let me see if I can come up a little bit. It's a very deep purple, like a very dark eggplant. And this is actually a cream. LSU colors are quite bright, so this is a muted version. And what I've done is, this is a pattern that I've kind of saw a picture of and decided, oh, I can do that. And it's just very simple. Let me catch the cream and the gold, seems to be best. Seed stitch on the edges, and then stockinette in the middle. So all the borders and the edging is seed stitch, and then the middle is complete stockinette. And this is a complete labor of love. This blanket is going on month 2 right now, and I have 5 rows left, 4.5 rows left. So I am looking at probably 4 more weeks. It takes me about a week, only working at night when the children are asleep. For an hour or 2, I try to get at least 4 to 8 rows in each day, so I can finish this up so she can give it to her family. So that is a big project I'm working on, but I'm really excited to learn more intricate stitches. The socks I've been seeing, the shawls I've been seeing, the cowls I've been seeing. They look so beautiful, and the lace work, and I'm really excited to learn more and practice my finishing and my edging. I'm really good at knit 2 together, and that works on one side but not on the other when you're trying to do beautiful clean edges. So I have a lot to learn, I think, in the details besides just stockinette, seed stitch, and garter. So I wanted to show you a few of my stash pieces. I don't have anything new, but I have something new on the way. The girls over at Cherry Purls were talking about the Felici from Knit Picks sock yarn, and Mary was knitting her favorite Time Traveler socks in Time Traveler from Felici. And I believe Jody and Tracy were talking about Felici also. They posted on Instagram. The grocery girls posted on Instagram that it was back in stock, and my mind went right to the Time Traveler. And I know who Mary's favorite doctor is because I saw it on her Ravelry page, but mine is where's the bow tie? So I think everybody has their own favorite traveler, Time Traveler, Time Lord. So I'm super excited for that to come, and I had 2 colors. So I will show you the other one. I'll show you both when they get here. Hopefully I'll have a second podcast, and that would be fantastic. And maybe someone will come and join me for that one also. So I don't have anything super new. Everything is kind of old if it's not an acrylic right now. I do a lot of acrylics for the baby hats because they're hypoallergenic and, easy care. You can wash them. Baby stuff, it's going to get dirty. That's just the way it is. So let me start with 8 years ago. Ran into Rob and Laurel. Walked into, actually they had we have a summer bazaar, sidewalk bazaar in Gloucester every year, and we were just strolling around and found them, and I found this, which I rolled into a ball. This is, let me think, Blue Heron lace. I believe it's Egyptian cotton. It was gorgeous. It is gorgeous. It has the most beautiful greens and lavenders and soft rosy pinks, and there's some sandy colors in there. And my friend said to me, "Are you sure you want to get that particular yarn?" And in my head, I was just thinking of the colors. I need those colors. That is the most beautiful yarn I've seen. Must have. I will figure out what to do with it. Then I found out very quickly that lace is this thin. And after taking the time to wind it, 8 years later, it's still sitting in this ball. So I'm hoping that my adventures in knitting will get me to where I can make something gorgeous out of that. So if anyone has any ideas or patterns or recommendations for lace weights, beautifulness, I'm open. I'm open. Okay, another one that I have is Flat Rocks Yarns. This is an exclusive color at Coveted Yarns. It is a worsted 85 wool 15 mohair, and it's hand dyed in Gloucester. It's I think I'm saying this correctly. It is a single ply. I don't know if I can get that close enough, but this is another one. This was hand dyed by Laurel and her sisters at from their family. It's a family business. They have started dyeing, and I bought this, and it is gorgeous. It has these deep. It's coming out a little more red, I think, but it's very purple. This is deep plums into a pinky mauvey, and then there's some ocean blues and some darker lavender lilacs, and it is gorgeous. So I won't tell you how old this is. It's a couple of years old, but it was one of those have to have, but at least I know how to work with a worsted weight. So I think this is going to be a hat. It would be super warm. It's going to be really warm. Or maybe mittens. There's a beautiful pattern that they had in the store with mittens. So still haven't, it's very squishy. It's very squishy, but it is a little scratchy, so I don't think anything around the neck. But whatever it's going to be toasty, toasty, toasty. Okay, so this one is not as old as everything else. This is my Malabrigo, and it is Polar Morn, and this is a kettle dyed pure merino. It is also a single ply. It is the most gorgeous. It's the color of fog with a touch, a slight touch of lavender, but it's more of like a bluey gray with just an undertone of that purple. And it's like the fog on the water, on the harbor, in the mornings when the air is colder, the air is warmer than the water, and it's beautiful. It's very soft. This is actually going to be a throw pillow, and the idea is the whole thing will be knit and stockinette, and this is one of the things I'm going to be working on next. This takes up most of my knitting time. I do still crochet during the day because I can do that with the boys around, but knitting at night. So this is next up. Oh my goodness, bug landed on me. This will be the next on my hook, and this will be going to, actually this is going into a retail store. My sister's store is Gianna Designs in Newburyport, Mass. And she has asked me to do a couple pillows for her store. So, oh, my other pillow, it's way in the other room. I don't want to leave you for that long for the time it'll take me to get it. But I have another pillow. It's actually up on my Etsy store if you want to see it. It is done with patons, bamboo, and silk, which was so much fun to knit with. It was the first non-acrylic yarn I had used in a while, and it's just a simple stockinette for most of it, and then on one side I did a cable, and it's a silver, dark silver color, and it kind of looks like water. With the way it knitted up. It was so beautiful. And I'm thinking in my head where it is at this moment, if I could run so super fast and get it, but I want to make sure I know where it is first. No, it's too far away. I will show it next time. I promise I will show it next time. So I'm trying to think what else. What else did I want to tell everybody? I don't know. I think that's all I have for today. And I think that I'm looking forward to doing another one. And I hope that everyone that tuned in to see this one had a good time, laughed a little bit, made sure to count how many times I said and thank you so much. This is exhilarating. This is wild. This is going to be awesome. Thank you so much. There's one more. Bye.